Assalamualaikum and greetings. So today, me and my friends will share about an article that has been assigned to us, which is Rise and Fall of Management Accounting by H. Thomas Johnson and Robert S. Kaplan. Based on this article, management face a huge problem in planning and control their decision making due to the management accounting information is produced too late, too aggregate, and too distorted to be relevant. Internal accounting system also focus much more on producing the monthly earning report than the results on fails to measure the actual increase or decrease in economic value that has occurred during that period. The authors said that the management accounting report decreased in productivity because some of the reason, which is the management accounting system focused too much on the input. For example, direct labor, which is irrelevant to be used in today's production environment, and also it do not provide timely and detailed information on the process efficiently. Next, the system also fails to provide an accurate product cost. For example, a symptomatic measure where it used to value the product cost at individual product level. To prove it, many firms fall into this trap because of misguided decisions. Lastly, the management accounting also provide a misleading target, such as they fail to provide the relevant set of measures that appropriately reflect the technology. What are the challenges that they were facing? During this vigorous competition, there are many new technology for processing, rapid progress in product development, decrease in currency exchange, and also raw material price demand that can be challenging to the organization. In order to overcome this, the organization management accounting system must provide a timely and accurate information to improve the productivity and production and the cost control. This is to ensure that the product created meets the demand. The next challenges is a vital two-way communication between the senior and the subordinate manager. It means in order to achieve the goal and the objective, the senior have to communicate with the subordinate manager, which require a system that is efficient enough to collect the information about the firm's product performance, and this is very important because the number reported is useful in making decisions. Lastly, in order to determine the success in today's economy depends on the product that meets the customer needs, which is very challenging because even though they have a good product, but an ineffective management accounting system could lead to inefficient production and distribution. To overcome this, the manager have to be alert and not erroneously rely on it for managerial control information and product decision making. The authors also said that there are few opportunities by having this management accounting system. By having a lot of demand for the excellent management accounting system, the cost of processing and collecting, for example, can be reduced, and this will result on save costs and energy because many production processes rely on digital computer, which require information to be recorded in real time to see the performance of operating, transaction, and many more. The designer of the management accounting system also use more advanced electronic technology rather than those being designed by their predecessors, as it is more accurate, more timely, and more effective, while simplified and aggregate procedure are too costly and it was not suitable to use. That's all for me. Thank you.
Decades ago, bookkeeping records dating back to ancient civilization had been found engraved in stone tablets. There has been a demand for recorded information about commercial transactions for 5 years ago. However, the desire for management accounting information or knowledge about business activity is a much recent phenomenon. Before the early 19th century, almost all exchange transactions took place between an owner or entrepreneur and non-members of the organization, such as major suppliers, piecework workers, and clients. Transactions took place in the market, and success made it were easy to come by. They need to collect more money from clients than they pay out to the suppliers of the production's input variables, principal labor, and material. Because of the opportunity to gain from economies of scale, it became cost-effective for 19th century business owners to invest large quantities of money in the production process. Textile mills from the first part of the 19th century, railways from the middle of the century, and steel corporations from the second half of the century are examples of hierarchical organizations. Hierarchical organizations create a new demand for accounting information. As competition process that were previously provided at a price through market exchanges began to be undertaken within companies, there was a requirement for method to assess the price of output from internal operations. Owner established measurements to describe the efficiency with which labor and material were converted to final product in the absence of price occurring within their organizations. The manager who monitored the conversion process was similarly motivated and evaluated using these metrics. It is significant since the factories were located a long way from the owner's corporate headquarters. Thus, management accounting evolved to assist the profit-seeking activities of entrepreneurs who use multi-process, hierarchical, and continuous marketplace transactions to manage conversion process. And in fact, management accounting information served as a substitute or alternative for market price which were unavailable in managed enterprise. This enterprise could now coordinate the acquisition of raw materials and the transportation of finished goods across considerably broader geographical areas than before. In fact, efficient logistical conversion and summary performance metrics for decentralized and distributed management necessitated the use of computer management accounting system. A new procedure was established in the mid-19th century to oversee the receiving and disbursement of cash. Therefore, detailed summaries of their internal operations and performance were created. Measures such as cost per ton mile were created and reported for each major segment of operations. The operating ratio, the ratio of revenue to operating costs was developed and both to measure the profitability of various segments of business. This development, large distribution companies, particularly retail store chains like Sears, and Woolworth, were also able to expand. Large distribution companies, particularly retail store chains like Sears, and Woolworth, were able to thrive as a consequence of the development. Obviously, the measures of conversion costs were not relevant for this distribution enterprise. These organizations need information on how effective purchase and operating costs and inventory stock turn were created. This example shows how management accounting information was created to help with the management of process-oriented industry like textile and steel conversion. Management accounting measures were created to inspire and evaluate internet processes efficiency. With the scientific management movement, many advancements in the technology of management accounting system were produced. During the last 2 decades of the 19th century, this movement began in metal fabrication enterprises. The standards were constantly changed to reflect the most recent purchases due to fluctuations in the price paid for labor and suppliers. As a result, completed product standard costs were frequently closer to what we now refer to as employment cost than to any measure of historic costs. Therefore, there was minimum requirement for the unit cost data to be consistent with the books of transaction that were used to create summary financial statement. To support the rise of multi-activity diversified organizations, the final investment in management accounting system occurred in the early decades of the 20th century. The DuPont Powder Company, founded in 1903 as a merger of formerly separate family-run or independent business, served as the model of this new organization structure. The manager were faced with the task of coordinating the many activities of a vertically integrated production and marketing business, as well as deciding on the most profitable capital allocations to these various activities. DuPont senior management established a number of critical operating and budget tasks to coordinate the activity of their many operating groups. Anyhow, the most important and the most enduring management accounting innovation was the return on investment. ROI provided an overall measure of the commercial success of each operating unit and of the entire organizations. It is because capital allocation remained a central management function in the early DuPont company. Departmental managers were not held responsible for ROI performance. Division managers were in charge of the division's profitability and return on capital as well as the ability to produce capital requests. As a result, central managers were now responsible for supplying capital to a variety of operating divisions as well as coordinating, motivating, and evaluating the performance of their divisional managers. Last but not least, the ROI metric was critical in allowing this internal market for managers and capital to function.
The reason why people nowadays think that management accounting system is lost relevant because after 1920, the evolution of management accounting does not follow or keep track with the improvement in corporation product and also in process technology. This situation can lead us to face many problems in the future, such as distorted product costs, delay and overlay process control information, and also short-term performance measure that do not reflect any increase or decrease in the organization economic position. For the next is academic-led X-ray. So, don't you think why university-based researchers fail to notice the growing issue, which is the management accounting system seem to becoming outdated? So, based on this question, we believe that academic-led X-ray happen because of academician, or in other words, researchers is too narrowly focused on simplify model of firm behavior. So, influenced strongly by economics, one production process model of the firm, management accounting academic found little value in the cost allocation imposed on organization by financial accounting procedure. Other than that, as management accounting system became less relevant to corporate operation strategy, many firms at this time began to be dominated by executive who is like to run their firm by the numbers. And now we will talk about accounting for caravans. There are probably many measures of the caravan's performance during the third quarter of 4087 that the investor will be interested in knowing. For example, what distance did the caravan cover, and in what direction? How many provisions are left? What is the condition of the inventory being transported? Are the workers content or rebellious? So, there are many potentially useful indicators of the caravan manager's performance during the third quarter 4087, but quarterly profit is not one of them. And given the current competitive technology and environment, there are probably many better indicators of a company's short-term performance than its quarterly earning. Last but not least is need innovation. So, as conclusion, the challenge and opportunity for contemporary organization is very clear. Management accounting system can and should be designed to support the operation and the strategy of the organization, and the technology exists to implement system radically different from those being used today. What is lacking is knowledge, but this knowledge can emerge from experimentation and communication.